All right, can you believe it? It is the final lesson of the first module. You've gotten a lot of the core things that you need to get down under your belt already, so that's a really good place to be, and it's going to set you up for a lot of success as we learn more accompaniment patterns. But our goal for this lesson is to put everything together, stitch everything together very seamlessly so we can play through our 1, 5, 6, 4 progression in the key of G with our thumb and fingers pattern. And if you don't know what a 1, 5, 6, 4 progression is or where it comes from, you can go to the Guitar Foundations course here on the Guitar Fam site. It's complimentary, so you can go through the whole thing. There's some great theory lessons in there, but I'll hit it for you really quick here just for convenience sake. We're in the key of G, and the G major scale is spelled G, A, B, C, D, E, and F sharp. And if you put numbers with those, you get 1 through 7, 1 G, 2 A, 3 B, 4 C, 5 D, 6 E, and then F sharp is 7. Now, if you put chords with all of those notes in the key of G major, and this is just the way this works out for major keys. Again, if you need more information on this, go check out the Guitar Foundations course. But if you put the naturally occurring chords with each one of those 7 notes in the G major scale, you end up with G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major for the 5, E minor for the 6, and the 7 is an F sharp diminished chord. So if you pull out for our progression the 1, 5, 6, 4, what would that be? Check this out. So it'd be 1 would be the G, 5 would be the D major, 6 would be an E minor, and then the 4 would be a C major chord. And that's what I mean when I'm talking about a 1, 5, 6, 4 progression. The only reason I'm going over this so much right now is because this is the main chord progression we're going to be using in the next few modules. Okay, the idea here is to move seamlessly between our 1, 5, 6, 4, but how do you do that if things are a little bit rough? Well, what I'd recommend doing is breaking things down into just 2 chords at a time. So if our progression is G, D, E minor, and C, what I would do is just work on only the first 2 chords. So G, so just one measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then move to a D. 1, 2, 3, 4. And separate the challenge to just that right there and go back and forth between a G and a D. And what that's going to do is going to make sure, or take you to that next level to make sure your thumb knows exactly where that D and low E string are. Right? Do this without a metronome at first. Look back at your hand if you need to make sure everything is as accurate as possible. Because really, we're just programming in a computer right now, right? We're programming in code into our brain to remember exactly where the low E string is and then where the D string is. The added benefit of this is you get to work on your G to D chord progression or transition to make sure it's as smooth as possible. Once you feel good with that, go to the next 2 chords. So the next 2 chords will be D major to E minor. So D major, E minor, D major, E minor. Slow it way down to where there's 0 chance of you making a mistake. And concentrate on getting as smooth as possible. Do this without a metronome at first. Then you can put a metronome on and do it too. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're moving pretty fast here, but you're going to want to spend more time on this than we are in this video just to make sure that you have things really internalized and programmed in very well. But the next 2 chords are E minor and C. So E minor, thumb on the low E string, and then C major, thumb on the A string, and back to E minor, back to C. Make sure you have the control to hit the low E for the E minor chord and the A with your thumb for the C chord. If you need to slow it way down, that's good, because that'll enable you to play fast later if it's programmed in well now. Okay, so do that with and without a metronome. I won't put you through making you listen to me play that to a metronome, because you know what to do by now at this point. The last chord change that we need to go over is just C to G, because we need to finish C's last chord in the progression, but we need to get back to that G. So that's always good to do as well. So C, thumb on the A string, to a G, thumb on the low E. So do this without a metronome again at first, and then with a metronome. I'm gonna go ahead and do this one with 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if things are feeling good, now is the time to put everything together into one seamless progression. So start with no metronome at your own leisure, however fast feels good for you. D, E minor, C, and if you can, experiment with the different ways, setting yourself up, your fingerstyle methods. There's folk. Probably my least used one of them. And then do anchored too. Back to classical. Okay, you know what's coming next. Metronome is 70 beats per minute. You might want to back this down to 60 because there's so much going on here. And there is a lot going on here, but if you've taken the time and really divided the challenges here, the right hand from the left hand, bringing them together now shouldn't be that bad for you. So make sure you put in the time. Here you go. 2, 3, here goes a G4. To a D. You're probably hearing about 1,000 songs in your head for this progression because it's so common. But that's good, because once you have this pattern down, what you can do is just pull up any song that you want if you have the chord chart for it, and just play along, just to work on this progression in a musical context. Now, at this point, I should mention that for all of the accompaniment patterns we're going to be working on throughout this course, I do have a jam track for you just to make things a little more fun. All it is drums, bass, and piano, but it's something a little bit more fun than just a metronome to play along to. Again, like I just mentioned while we were doing that exercise, you can pull up any chord chart for any song you want, and as long as you can play all the chords there, you can adjust or adapt this fingerstyle pattern to play along with your favorite songs. Slower songs right now will probably work a little bit better, just so you can kind of keep up with the tempo of the chord changes and thinking about where your thumb's going to be going for each chord as it goes by. But it's a really fun kind of experiment, unique way for you to practice with your own favorite songs. So far, we've been very deliberate and thorough with developing your basic fingerstyle technique and accuracy with your thumb and fingers, and that is perfect. If you feel confident with the skills you've developed so far, you can move on to the next module. If you feel like things are still a little bit shaky, go revisit every exercise in this module and just make them part of your daily routine. If you can only practice 20 minutes a day, that's okay. If you have an hour and a half to practice every day, even better, but you can make progress. It just may take you a little longer if you have less time to practice. But more importantly than that, consistency is going to be the biggest thing to get things programmed in right. If you have any questions, again, email us support@guitarfam.com. Leave a comment in the form or on the page we're reviewing this video, or schedule a personal private one-on-one lesson with me. The first one is complimentary, and I'll be looking forward to meeting you and going through the rest of this course with you on the site. See you.